we are going to have a 30-minute presentation about all of the resources we offer, followed by a 5-minute presentation on the entrepreneurship certificate courses here at WCC. Then a 10-minute Q&A. I do want to give a big shout out to everyone who submitted questions via the registration form. We really appreciate that. So we'll be going over those as well as any that are brought up in the session. So if you do have a question at any time, please feel free to type that in the chat, and I'll be monitoring that and make sure that it gets answered during our Q&A portion. And then to wrap up, we'll have a 10-minute enrollment services presentation. If you would like any more information on anything that I've talked about today or that we will be talking about today, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'll put my email in chat as well, but that is lcward@wccnet.edu. Also, if you've signed up for future webinars and you have any questions on those or anything, again, I'm the person that you'll contact if you need any help whatsoever. All right, from here, I am going to go ahead and turn it over to the Entrepreneurship Center to go ahead and do some introductions, and we can get started.
Hello, thank you, Lauren. I'm Kristen Biebski. I'm the director of the Entrepreneurship Center. And I wanted to say thank you to Lauren for organizing this. Thank you to Anthony Terry, our faculty member, Kim Dosey, Molly Letterman will be in later. And I think we wanted to have Anthony. Can you introduce yourself? I'm not sure if I jumped out of line here, but if you want to introduce yourself.
Yes. How you doing, everybody? My name is Anthony Terry. I'm the department lead in entrepreneurship, and I help orchestrate all the entrepreneurship classes here at WCC.
Thank you, Anthony. And like I said, I'm the director of the center, and I've been there 6 years, and the center is 6 years old as of last week. I'm a business owner, or I was a business owner, so I'm very much in line with what it feels like to be out there running your business and being on your own and needing lots of help and resources and funding and mentors and networking. So that's what we do at the center. We will go through a large slideshow, but we'll go through quickly, and we will send it to you afterward. And there's lots of good links in there too. So I'd like to go about introducing our staff at the center. So first is Erin Ellie.
Hi, everybody. My name is Erin Ellie. I'm a manager with the Entrepreneurship Center, and I also connect people to resources, which we'll go over in a little bit. And with that, I'll hand it over to Claire Abraham.
Thank you, Erin. Hi, everyone. My name is Claire. I'm the coordinator at the EC. I've been at the EC a little over 5 years, and also work with our clients who we see to provide resources. And last, we have our assistant, Tia, who will introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tia, the entrepreneurship assistant. I've been with the entrepreneurship since the beginning of COVID. Actually got in right before everything shut down. So I was blessed to be able to come on to the team, and I run any type of support, any communication with any new intakes. And I hand it back over to Kristen.
Thank you. Thanks so much. So that's our staff. Again, as Lauren said, please put questions into the chat. Lauren and Claire and Tia and Erin will be answering them, and I'll be answering them when I'm not speaking. And we'll have some Q&A at the end as well, we hope. But again, we have a lot to present to you. So this slideshow, like I said, will be sent to you after. This is us, the Entrepreneurship Center. We're located on WCC's campus. The links in here, like you just saw our website, that will link out when you get this PDF. This is our building. It's on the west side of campus. A nice little small building. We've got a nice co-working space there. And this is what it looks like. It's very small, but we have resources like books, magazines. You can use computers, you can print for free. So we are closed right now during remote operations, but we will be open again soon. So we look forward to seeing you there. This is our team. These are our names here, and these are the ways to reach us. So we've got our website here, our main entrepreneurship address. And then Erin will go into our business assistance request form in a minute, but that will help you understand more about how to connect with us.
Okay, so this is a little information about what the Entrepreneurship Center offers. And I'm just going to kind of go into our ongoing services. We are still offering virtual one-on-one consultations. So as I mentioned, Claire Abraham and I can both meet with you and provide resources to meet your business needs. We are also offering free webinars online, and you can sign up for our newsletter. You can also set up for a virtual meeting with an entrepreneur in residence. That's somebody who has expertise on a particular topic that can really work with you on that subject. And then we also have virtual market research, which Molly Letterman, our librarian, will get into. And I just want to click on the consultation piece for a moment, because we do have a business assistance request form on our website. It's on the left-hand navigation of our website. And people can click on the link there and then fill out some basic information. Primarily what we want to know, though, is your business needs, obstacles you're facing, and the resources we can provide, because we want to make sure we meet you where you are. So that's on our website. And again, we'll be sharing this, and you can get to it through all of these links. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our market research librarian, Molly Letterman.
Hi, everyone. The Bailey Library at WCC partners with the Entrepreneurship Center to provide free market research services. And we do a lot of, sending clients back and forth so that they can get exactly what they need at the right time. So when we do market research, a lot of times people will say, hey, great, help me with my marketing plan. But that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is helping you find information about trends in your industry. What's going on in your industry, where are projections saying that it's going, what kind of subtopics are hot within the industry, things like that. Finding your target market. So, we all know that our target market isn't everybody, right? So how do you find the people who will be most interested in your product and service? Where are they geographically? How do you, find them within a specific county or region and things like that? And then we help you find competition, other businesses in the field, and we can help with a lot of business to business research too. So finding business lists in a specific industry and things like that. And so we have this, another thing that we have is this small business resources online page, and I'm going to throw the link in the chat too, just so you can grab it from there. And this is where we compile all sorts of great resources on how to start your own business. And we have a start your own business guide. And Erin, is that live? Can you click? Are you clicking on that? Awesome. So we have your start your own business guide with helpful resources, and we pile information in here from the Entrepreneurship Center and from the librarians as we help clients and find additional great content. So this is always being updated. We have things in there, basic legal information, insurance information, business planning, how to find sample business plans, and all sorts of other great content there. We also have some special guides that are for starting a business based on a lot of the boot camps that we've done. So you can find just resources for the business of art, childcare, digital video. And so there's specific resources that we've compiled for you to find specific things there. And then you can see we also have nonprofit and additional research databases. And so there's 3 ways that you can get help from a market research librarian. And the contents here, and we can go back to the slideshow if it's easier to see there, maybe. Perfect, yes. So Amy Lee is our other business librarian. So you can get in touch with us for help with market research 3 ways. One is to fill out a form for individual research help via email. So these would be one-on-one consultations that we would have done in the Bailey Library. But since the Bailey Library is closed, we've been helping people via email and then setting up follow-up Zoom call or additional emails to help people out. And you can access that from that form right from that small business page that we just looked at. You can meet with the librarian virtually for a 30-minute consultation. Today is my day of the month, the first Thursday of the month. So actually, as soon as I log out here, I'll be logging in with a client. So you can get a free 30-minute consultation with the librarian. You just send us kind of some of the questions you're looking for, and then we can talk and share resources. And you can sign up. If you look at the EC events page, you can see when the next session's coming up. They'll be on the first Thursday of the month and the third Tuesday of the month. And there's 2-hour sessions. There's 30-minute blocks within each 2-hour session. So we can see quite a few people each month. And then we're also offering free virtual market research workshops. And the next one is just coming up on October 7th. So you can register for that right from that small business research help page. And they're held every other month. And you can see when the next one is coming up on the entrepreneurship calendar. So yeah, we usually are able to find people a lot of great resources, and then can also refer them on to other additional help from the Entrepreneurship Center or other resources as needed.
Thank you, Molly. Thanks
You're
so much
welcome.
for the session.
Thanks.
Molly jumped in very quickly for us, so we appreciate that. She is going off to do 4 of those sessions in a row. There's another librarian, Amy Lee, and they swap those sessions throughout each month. And if you have questions for Molly specifically, just throw them in the chat. She's got to go soon. Maybe she'll be here a few minutes and answer a few, but we can answer them for her as well and help you out or connect you further. And Erin, I was going to ask, would you mind going back to the info page and covering the Entrepreneurs in Residence program? I think we skipped that before I move on.
Yep, so the Entrepreneurs in Residence program started last fall. And we have 4 entrepreneurs who have expertise on various topics. One person works with you through your business planning if you're in early stages of business planning and you need help writing a business plan, but not only that, but thinking through your goals and setting your goals and taking next steps, especially from the idea stage. She's a great person to talk to. We have somebody who is a marketing expert who works through your marketing strategy when you're ready to think about how you want to maybe sell your products online and reach people via social media and various other platforms. We have somebody who works through your idea, somebody who can help you kind of think of that idea validation piece. Is this idea going to be a viable product? And then we have somebody who works with artists. We have a lot of artists that come in. As Molly mentioned, she pointed out that we have an entire section for artists and creative people. And so she works specifically with artists. That's Sandra Zanakis. And then the marketing expert is Danielle Milner. Sharnessa Roach is our business planning expert. And Al Newman is the person who can work with you through your idea. And so what we'll do is Claire and I will meet with somebody, and then if they say, you know, I really need some more support with my marketing strategy, then we'll help them schedule an appointment with Danielle, for instance, and they are offering virtual meetings as well. So then they can spend about 30 to 40 minutes with you, really working through that idea and setting some goals for yourself and setting up some tasks that are attainable. And so it's been a great program, and we're excited to connect people to those resources. So I'll move on now.
Thank you. Thanks so much for adding that in. We didn't want to miss that part. So quickly, who does the EC support? Just so you know, we are here for anybody. And that really does mean anybody. We help students, faculty, staff at WCC, but also community members. So anybody's welcome to email us if we're open, when we're open, to come on in to the center. But for now, everything's virtual. You can see on the left-hand side, these are the most common requests we get, meaning people who come in are either just dreaming about starting, or they've started, or they're already in business. You can see on the right-hand side, usually most people are in those early stages. But on the left, again, those are the industries that we see most represented. Artists, like Erin mentioned, food businesses, health businesses. We see everything. But basically, this is the largest areas, and you can see what kind of resources people are requesting. But we typically see micro enterprise owners. Again, anyone can come to us at any stage, but typically they are smaller business owners. That means businesses that are solopreneur run, meaning a single owner, or small businesses with just a few staff. That's typically who we're seeing. And what we do when you come in to see us, Erin will go into this more, but we try to guide you to the right resources, funding resources, other organizations that will mentor you, mentors, a wide variety of resources and help that you might need where you're at in your stage of development.
Okay, so you filled out a business assistance request form, which I showed you on the website. So what happens next? You'll usually get an introductory email with some foundation resources from Tia Bean, who introduced herself earlier, and she'll be speaking later. And then from there, she'll share a calendar for both Claire and I. I generally meet with people in the mornings and then Claire in the afternoons. And then from there, we'll schedule either a virtual meeting, a Zoom meeting, or we'll schedule a phone meeting, however people prefer to meet virtually. And then we will set you up with some resources. Oftentimes, as Kristen mentioned, people are in the idea stage. Sometimes they have multiple ideas and they're not sure how to sort through their ideas. And so with that, then we'll connect you to some idea development resources. And Tia put together this really great sheet that kind of helps you think through all the components of working through your business idea, ways to sort of simplify your idea if you do have multiple ideas or branches of your idea, and organizing them and surveying people, asking them, does this idea make sense? Is this something you would purchase? And all the way through planning to operate and sell your product or service. And then these are some additional resources that we provide to people. Again, these are all linkable and they're all linking to resources that you can utilize that we'll share after the presentation. So from there, I'll hand it to Claire, who's going to go over some business planning resources.
Yeah, so another major component that we often speak on the topic of business plans or business planning with clients who might be at this stage where brainstorming is important to moving forward. So some of the resources listed here on the next slide, we have more links to some of the common resources. There are lots of templates out there that are great for the brainstorming purposes. Again, depending on the needs of the clients that we see, everyone is different, and that includes the business planning process. So business plans can be looked at as a formal document or perhaps more of a brainstorming tool. So where do I start with business planning and writing a business plan is a question that often comes up, and thinking about the purposes of your business plan. But some of the templates are listed here again in the resources. And the next slide will show you an image of a visual template called the Business Model Canvas, which is a popular one in entrepreneurship circles. It's a great visual tool when business planning seems overwhelming. If you're sitting down to a blank document, can be a lot to think about. So looking at it in these categories, which we often spend our meetings with clients going over how to fill this out and how to think about this. So the next slide also gives you some more of the basic components that come up a lot for business owners, including legal formation, insurance considerations, and some of those logistical details that often are thought about at this stage of business. So I think that's about it for this category.
Thank you, Claire. Yes, just remember that these are broad topics, and they're huge topics for business owners. These are just areas that you will be encountering the entire life of the business. And remember, the blue text within this document is linkable. So we're not going to link out today. We don't have time to go deep into it. But remember that a lot of these things are going to be linking out to basic resources for you. So this one, financial planning, probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest consideration. So we're going to give you a few links today, but remember that this is a series of 4 webinars every Thursday this month from 1 to 2. The third one, I believe, is called How Do I Fund My Business? So that one will get deeper into funding ideas. We'll have someone represented from a bank for talking about traditional loans. So there's going to be a lot more there. But today I'm just going to go over a few items to think about. So in the beginning, when you're thinking about starting a business, or maybe you already have, but now you want to level it up a bit, you do need to think about your own credit history. That factors in, even if you have a legal formation, a legal business formation, like Claire mentioned, like a limited liability company, and that is a legal entity that's not you, you still are the person behind it and the person with the credit history. So we talk about that with people, how to look at that. We have a lot of avenues for free financial templates, for cost analysis, for startup costs, for projections, and those things are all important when you're planning, or if you're writing a business plan and you need to include that so the bank can see what your future looks like in the business. And then there's some free resources for accounting and tax help as well. And we have a lot of links to that, and we can, dive much deeper with you when you come in or when we do a virtual meeting. And then of course, bookkeeping. So we can get into that. There's free services, and then there's some that have a basic cost. And this is a huge list, but we just wanted to throw up a lot of different ways that people get funded for their businesses. Mainly, most micro enterprise owners probably are just self-funded initially, or they get funding from family and friends because they may be too early in the stage to get a traditional bank loan. If you are ready for that and you're heading toward that, there's the capital readiness checklist here that links out, that helps you think about the things you need to be ready for to approach a bank. There's a lot of microloans out there. Never enough. When I say a lot, it doesn't mean they're easy to get, but there are a lot of microloans that we have options listed here for, excuse me, a lot of options out there that we have lists for, and this is a good list to get you to some of those. Some people enter pitch competitions, and we have our own pitch at WCC every year, and there's cash prizes for that if you're a winner. And some people actually get some funding going through pitch competitions and winning those. There's nonprofit fundraising, which is a whole different kettle of fish. And then we have lots of resources for underrepresented business owners in many different categories, because there are different resources, organizations, and sometimes special funding or programs for people in different categories. And lately we've seen a lot more under the pandemic. So again, never easy to get, but there are a lot that are floating around out there, so we can try to help you navigate that. And now we'll hand it over to Tia.
Hello, everyone again. So what we do here at the Entrepreneurship Center for Marketing and Branding is get you on the right path with coming up in the idea stage of who your customer is. You want to think about how you're going to brand your market and how your message will be to them to make sure it's fluid. You also want to think about where your customers live on social media and how you will come up with the correct marketing strategy for your business to be able to relay that message to them and reach them on social media, or even in a physical location if you want to put up any newsletters or things of that sort. And I'll hand it over to Erin.
So we just wanted to talk about all the resources that we have available, not only on campus, but across the community. There's an abundance of resources here that people sometimes aren't aware of. And so we just like to connect people to as many free resources, especially as possible. But we have so many resources right here at WCC that I'm excited to share. One, Small Business Development Center. So they are a statewide organization, and we're lucky enough to have them right here in Washtenaw County. They are a really valuable resource for small business owners, somebody who maybe is in business but needs to dig deeper into their business plan, needs something more specific. They're a great resource for that. They have wonderful free webinars and workshops on everything from business planning to forming your LLC. There's a lot of great information on their website. They have an entire guide to starting a small business that you can access for free on their website. And they too are also offering virtual consultations. So you can talk with a consultant if you want to dig deeper into your business plan, or if you have any specific questions for your business. They're all wonderful to work with, and they're all great experts on various topics. And we have links to their website right here that you can access. And then the Business and Computers Technologies Division, which Anthony will get into a little bit more, but we want to talk about how we do have business courses here, the entrepreneurship certificate courses, which Anthony will talk about specifically, and accelerated programs. So there are a lot of really good resources and opportunities here on campus. And then there are also non-credit courses for people who maybe want to take just one class to improve their knowledge on their social media marketing or email marketing, so that they can grow their business. There are a lot of opportunities for all kinds of different small business owners at any stage of business. And so with that, I will hand it back over to Kristen to talk about our community partners and resources.
Thank you, Erin. So another thing we're known for is that we are a great resource hub. So when you come to us, and like Erin laid out, you do a business assistance request form, and then you speak with mainly Claire or Erin and do an intake, as we call it, then we're going to meet you where you're at with your stage of development, with your idea, and then get you connected. And we're known for connecting you out to the right place. And again, that might be the Small Business Development Center on our own campus. It might be an organization in Detroit that's got really great business resources. It might be a mentor. And if you go to that next slide, Erin, you can see very broadly, again, we're just giving you the broad strokes here, of other organizations or other people or other funding sources that we're going to lead you to. So we're a first stop, a fifth stop, a 10th stop, along your development, because you may have been in business 30 years, but you need help with social media, maybe learning how to do that properly. Or you may be at a second stage of business and you need to level up and get funded in a different way, or approach a bank, like I said earlier, that you might not have done before. So that's what we're trying to do, is get you super connected to the right places at the right time, because it is very confusing. And also everything we try to lead you to is free. There's so much great business support out there, and businesses are suffering right now through the pandemic. And we're trying to really be right in touch with every last grant that's available for business owners, every last COVID-related resource business owners may need, webinars all over the place. So we definitely are the ones to talk to about where you need to go next. But some listings here, lots of Ypsilanti-based business resources, nonprofits. We get a lot of people who are interested in starting social mission-based organizations or nonprofits. So we can help you with locating resources for that. Pitch competitions and tech. We don't get a lot of high-tech, high-growth company owners coming into the center, because we can lead you to Spark and other organizations that might be better suited. But we do get some, and we do have a lot of resources for that. And again, for COVID, if you're dealing with issues related to COVID, grants to get PPE equipment for your business, different things like that, we can help out. And I think that might be the last slide. So we got through that pretty well, so I'm glad about that. We'll have more time for questions. And again, these are broad strokes, and this is kind of an overall view, but we wanted to let you know all the various areas on campus we have for you, from our credit classes to our non-credit classes to our free business support organizations like ourselves, the center, and the SBDC. And now, so we'll have questions, we can keep going on, and I'm going to hand it over to Anthony. I believe he's next to talk about the entrepreneurship certificate courses offered here.
How's everybody doing? That's like a yes, no, good, right? Thumbs up, you can do emojis. All right, there we go. So I'm the lead faculty for the entrepreneurship certificate program at Washtenaw Community College. And when we look at the program, one of the things that gets me excited is when I get the students in there, because there's 3 classes involved with the entrepreneurship certificate. And I don't really consider them classes, I consider them opportunities, because now when I look at millennials, Gen X's, and things of this nature, you guys, hey, I want to work for me. I want to make my own money and do my own thing. So one of the things that I like about the certificate program, there's 3 classes that you take. And what we've done here at Washtenaw is geared these classes towards developing you as an entrepreneur or a future entrepreneur. So some of the things that we deal with in these classes, in these 3 classes, like entrepreneurship, the first thing you get into is entrepreneurship 1. We start developing a business plan. And what a business plan is your roadmap in terms of your guide that you're going to follow in terms of getting this business up and going. And it's also your guide to help you in terms of funding, loans, grants, things of this nature. So that's one of the first things you need when we talk about becoming an entrepreneur. So in Entrepreneurship 1, we dive right into that, start developing that business plan. But throughout the other 2 courses, we modify and make that business plan even better. So that's one thing I look at when we talk about the certificate program. So we look at all 3 courses. First thing we look at is the business plan. Then we get into the business model canvas. Claire showed you earlier what the canvas is, but when we get into the classes, we talk about another business model canvas as well. So you get an opportunity to look at a couple of business model canvases and something for you to follow that will meet your expectations in terms of your business. So now that we get into that, we also look at funding. Some of the things we don't, some programs don't look into. Everybody wants to be for-profit, but sometimes we look at nonprofit as well. So we look at for-profit and nonprofits when we go through this certificate program. We also looking at the resources that we have, and Kristen and the EC, the Entrepreneurship Center, talked about some of those things. What we do in our classes, we start utilizing those tools that they have. And I kind of force you to do that because now you realize that, guess what? I got help here on campus that can help me get to the point where I'm trying to get to in terms of starting my business. So we look at these business resources. We look at resources on campus that we can utilize. And then we also look at things at the library as well in terms of doing our research. One of the things that you want to try to avoid, and what we try to do when we start looking at this program and you start looking at a certificate and taking these classes, is you don't want to go in somewhere with your eyes blind. You want to go in knowing exactly what's up. So by utilizing the library, you can do some of your research and understand your competition, understand your target market. And we dive into all that to get a better understanding of what we need to do when we're talking about business and going in business for ourselves. Because you don't want to go in there and start putting money into something and you start losing it. So the course and the certificate program helps you as an investment to make sure that you're going to do the right things or follow these particular roadmap in terms of getting to where you're trying to get to. We also, we look at in terms of sharing our opportunities, because you got to realize when we're in these classes, there's other entrepreneurs there as well. So what we do is we share our ideas and our thoughts with each other. So because everybody's on the same page, I know what you guys, I got a daughter that's young and it's all about making that money. Well, if you want to make that money, you got to bounce your ideas off each other, and they will help you in terms of guiding you to the right place. In some cases, they may be your target market to tell you exactly what they're looking for in terms of the business that you're trying to produce. And by having that support system now you're developing things. You're developing a support system, developing a network. All these things are starting to work when you talk about this particular program. So I'm excited about this certificate program because we also offer 5-week courses starting next semester. So you can take 5 courses, all 3 of those, back to back to back, and have your certificate within a semester. So you can gather all this knowledge, get all these resources. And in Entrepreneurship 3, what we do, the last class, is we help you develop a website. So by the time you leave the certificate program, you'll have a website, you will have funding resources, you will have a network, and you will also develop and learn how to do a pitch. Because you gotta realize when you got a business, you gotta be able to pitch your business to someone so you can try to generate revenue, to try to get funding. So we cover all these things in these 3 courses. And I know I talk fast because I get excited because since we've started this program and put some things together, I've been here for the last 2 years. I've talked to 4 of my students already that have started their own business after leaving and getting their certificate. So I know it's something that you want to be on this call if you want interested in becoming your own entrepreneur. So it's possible by going and getting a certificate and help you get to these particular things. Last thing we'll talk about as well is in terms of Entrepreneurship 3, by the time you leave Entrepreneurship 3 and have your certificate, you will have the instructions of how to register your business as well, becoming an LLC, LLP, and things of that nature. And we'll talk about the different forms of business that you can go into. So look into it, and I'm going to put my email on this. I'm gonna put my email on the chat. So if you want any information, you can contact me. And some of my students are in my class right now, they have not only my email, they have my cell number as well. And I will provide that to you as well to help guide you through, because I know this is what we're looking at in the future. And I want you guys to be part of this future in terms of being an entrepreneur. So I appreciate the time. We can talk more about certificate program later on, but If you need any help, make sure you contact me. I'm Mr. Terry or Anthony Terry, and I will put my email in the chat.
All right, thank you, Anthony, Mr. Terry, so much for that. We really appreciate it. We have a bunch of questions to get into, and I'm kind of going to open this up to almost a panel-like discussion with all of our experts here. So if you do have any questions, please start putting them in the chat, and I will go through them for you. All right, so the first question that we had, let me pull that up right here, and this comes from our registration. So with so many resources out there, how do we filter that? How do we know which ones are good resources? And maybe the EC can take this because they really have like the wide range and the net for all of those.
Claire, do you want to take that one?
Sure, that is a great question. And I know it can feel like information overload with a lot of different aspects of when you're researching any topic, but especially starting a business. And we are happy at the Entrepreneurship Center, as our team mentioned, anyone at any stage of business, even if it's something that you've been thinking about or dealing with a few different ideas that you're not sure how to narrow down, we are more than happy to chat with you and kind of do that brainstorming process, which can lead to potentially going into other resources or other referrals, so you'll be more ready to utilize some of those more specific resources, if that makes sense. So we're happy to meet you where you're at any stage. And Erin, do you have any input on that?
Yeah, I think Claire put it best. When we meet with people, we kind of gauge where they are and what resources would work for them in the moment. Like I said, some people might have different ideas or not sure how to set those goals. And so we kind of help you like organize and think through those goals, and then match you to the resources to get to those goals and work through them. Oftentimes it could be like we talked about the Entrepreneur in Residence program. It might be working with one of our entrepreneurs residents, like Sandra, if you're an artist, in terms of pricing your art. Maybe that's something you need. And so we try to match you to those specific resources as you go through the process. And you can continue to work with us through those resources as your business grows. And we'll match you to the resources that you need. Like say you're at a point when you need to start an LLC, then we'll connect you to those kinds of resources as you move forward. So hopefully that helps answer your question.
Yeah, that was great. So we have a question from chat. Can you start a business with no credit history? And I'll let anyone jump in on that one.
I answered that very briefly, but I don't know, Anthony, if you might want to mention that. It's something that obviously would be harder, but I think it's doable. And again, we have resources on, how to look at your credit history, how to change that. And we often give talks, or we have other people, experts, speak on how to do that, right? So we can talk about that one-on-one if you like. And I don't know, Anthony, if you have some more comments on that.
And you hit it right on the head, but you can't start one with bad credit history. But in some cases, Kristen already touched upon it. We talk about credit history and having some in terms of getting additional funding. It'll be a little bit more difficult to get the funding aspect of it.
Awesome. Are there any specific resources for people with disabilities or in other communities?
That's a great question. I can provide one answer. Is we have compiled a list that we'd be happy to send out to anyone who needs it on underrepresented business owner resources, which includes minority groups as well as individuals with disabilities. So specific groups that we've linked out through that resource, we'd be happy to send out. There's different, sometimes state or national resources, as well as more local. So there's definitely some out there that we'd be happy to share.
And Erin and Claire, isn't there the Michigan Rehab Center? Don't they have, what is that program they have to help business owners with disabilities? I'm not remembering it myself.
MRS, yeah. Yep, they have a program, is it Work Skills? Program to help people, to support people with disabilities who are working on any small business and career. So they have all kinds of resources too. They're a great resource. The Center for Independent Living too has a list of resources too for small business owners. We'd be happy to connect people to additional resources.
Awesome. So another question, we mentioned a lot about resources within Washtenaw community. Are there resources that you guys can connect entrepreneurs with outside of the community, or that are regional, national? How does that work?
Yeah, I can answer that. That's a good question. And when we talk about meeting people at any stage of business, we also meet people with businesses as far as internationally. We oftentimes will meet with somebody who maybe is starting a business in Detroit, and there are a lot of wonderful Detroit resources that will connect people to, and wonderful partners in the community. There are resources across Michigan, and if we are unaware of the resource in, let's say, another state, we'll find the resource for the person so that they can connect to the right people, and maybe another entrepreneurship center in that region, or maybe another small business development center in that region where they can talk to somebody there. And so, yep, we meet with people with all kinds of businesses. Some people want to start a business in their home country. Some people want to start a business on the west side of the state. So we have a really nice variety, and we definitely can find access to those resources for people, regardless of where they might start their business, and give them that connection so that they can move forward in that state or wherever they are.
And Lauren, before you jump to another question, hopefully that was answered clearly enough, but if you need more clarity, let us know. But somebody answered or asked about forming an LLC, and I put a link into a really, really good basic website that tells you how to form an LLC in Michigan, which is a limited liability company. And then someone suggested LegalZoom, which is a great idea, but I would say come to us first, because if you go to LegalZoom, you're going to pay money for them to form the LLC for you. And you really can do it with just the basic fee that the state wants you to pay, which I believe is $50 right now. Yep. So that's what we're about. Come to us and we'll say, okay, you can go the LegalZoom route, pay a couple $100. I believe that's where they're at, for them to do it for you. So you get it all done. You don't have to worry about it, which some people like. But we also want to tell you how to do it for free, or at least at the minimum cost. And if you look through that resource link I gave you, that's a great local company that teaches you, no matter what state you're in, how to form an LLC in that state. So that's just something I wanted to add on to.
Just in addition to that, which is a great link that Kristen put in, the SBDC Small Business Development Center, which Erin spoke on, which is on campus, has their free monthly LLC formation webinar, which is every month you can attend, and they talk about what it means to get your LLC, and they go over how to fill out that paperwork with the state of Michigan.
So another question that we have from chat, does the EC or are there any resources on campus that help with grant writing?
Erin, you want to take that one? That's a tough one. That's always
sometimes we do, look for local grant writers for people. There are ways to connect with grant writers, and surprisingly, one of them is a company called Upwork, or a website called Upwork, where people connect with freelance services. They can be everything from graphic designers to writers, and you can actually connect with grant writers there. And there's another one called Fiverr, Fiverr, where you can connect with writers too, grant writers there, definitely. And if it's grant writing for a nonprofit, the News Center is a really great organization locally that offers nonprofit resources. But again, talk to us first, definitely, and we can help you sort of dig into those resources for you. I hope that answers your question. I hope that helps.
Yeah, I know that grant writing can be tricky. Anthony, do you go over that at all? You mentioned nonprofit businesses in your entrepreneurship certificate classes.
Yes.
Is that something that you discuss at all?
Yeah, we do discuss it. So we were talking about grant writing. I went and I got a grant writing certificate. So I have written grants, and I try to share some of those resources to them in terms of how to, where to apply to them at, where the grants are, things of that nature. Me being a certified grant writer, I got a site that I can go to and show all the different grants that are available for nonprofits and things of that nature. So I do share that in the class as well.
Awesome.
Thank you, Aaron. Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
sorry, Lauren, if I could jump in really quickly. I think too, an important point about grant writing is the stats and the data and the detail that you need, right? So we have Molly, who you met, one of our business librarians. They can help you with that market research or whatever research it is, if it's to start a nonprofit or whatever grant you're writing for. You need detail, and that would be a great place to start. And we do have a guide. I think Aaron was linking or showing you earlier when Molly was speaking. There's that one page with all the orange stripes on it. And again, we can maybe throw it in here. I'll find it and throw it in. There's a guide to starting a nonprofit. So I'll link that out. There might be some links in there for grant writing, I'm hoping. So we'll add that in.
Yep. Yeah, I just shared it with everybody in chat, so you can link to it there.
All right. So another question that we were getting a lot from the registration pages, and this may be where I got a couple more questions after this. But are there resources for helping people outside of the United States start a business within the United States?
Do you want to take that, Claire?
Yeah, I'm thinking. So, that's a good question. I know it would, I guess, if you were looking into importing and exporting resources, we can send you some of those, which sometimes, again, are coming from government sites or federal sites. And if it isn't in importing or exporting, there are different sites. Even the link that Kristen sent for how to start an LLC in Michigan, that entire website has different pages on starting a business in different states, because each state has different regulations, things like sales tax and where you're selling. So, and if it comes back to, I know it can be a multifaceted thing, but it might be an e-commerce question. So online selling, again, it kind of depends on the location of your business and the regulations of your local community. Does that make sense? And feel free to jump in anything else.
Yeah, there's so of course a business is a business, right? If you're starting in Michigan, you need to follow Michigan regulations no matter where you're from. But I think what Claire was mentioning too is your status, right? If you're an international student, maybe on a visa, or a recent immigrant, we have resources for different types of business owners who may not be citizens, legal residents, whatever the case may be. Sometimes you can't, sometimes you're not able to start a business. But as Corey was mentioning to me, he's from the SBDC and he's here today. Someone who used to work at the SBDC now works at an organization in Detroit called Global Detroit. And they help immigrants and international students start businesses, and they support them along the way. So there are different resources based on, so I'm not sure of the person's situation who asked that question, but yeah, we can dig in deeper and help you with that.
Okay. So I'm actually going to then end the Q&A portion here just so that we can stay on a good time. And I am going to turn over this presentation to our Enrollment Services representative, Kim Dosey. So if you do have any more questions, we're still here. So continue answering or asking them in chat, and we'll be responding via chat. And then we also will provide our emails and everything like that, so you can always ask us after the presentation as well. All right, Kim, are you ready?
I'm ready. Great
Okay.
questions and a great webinar today.
Thank you. Let me go ahead and start sharing here. All right, take it away.
Okay. So we can just take it to the next slide, please. So as Lauren mentioned, I'm Kimberly Dosey. I'm part of the enrollment team here at WCC. Won't get too much into my history. Just I want to keep us on task. But one of my favorite things, I've been with the college for 7 years, since 2013. And I love telling people about the resources we have. And honestly, like just all this information about the Entrepreneur Center, I want to start a business now. it's the Washtenaw is a hidden gem, and it's so great that we have this vehicle to offer webinars to tell students and taxpayers about the resource that we have here at WCC. I feel like I have the greatest job. It's a privilege to be a part of helping people, guide them to the gem that Washtenaw is, and helping them to become enrolled at WCC. So we'll take it to the next slide and tell you how you can do that. So just some fast facts about WCC. We have open admissions. Open admissions basically means you apply and you're in. So often in high school, your senior year, students are applying to WCC and other four-year institutions, and they're waiting to see if they are accepted or denied. But Washtenaw is here for everyone. And so it's just good to know that it's affordable. Everybody has an opportunity to study at WCC. We are flexible. We offer classes day, evenings, weekends. Obviously, in this day and age with things changing with the pandemic, we're online and virtual. We have mixed mode. So if there is a lab situation, students can come in for labs, but then have a virtual classroom. Other advantages about WCC is our average class size is 18 to 22. And I should note that with the mixed mode lab situations, they're limited to 8 during the pandemic. So we're just, trying to gauge things right now with instruction to keep everyone safe. And, hopefully in the future, there will be some face-to-face again, but really like the point is, however instruction needs to be delivered, Washtenaw is always cutting edge with this. And so we're here to offer instruction to fit within your schedule and within your life. We want to advance people. We want to make, people better and offer this education. And I think another thing about WCC that's important to know is that we have a diverse environment. Students study and enroll in classes at WCC. Over 20,000 students enroll every year. And they're coming from 100 countries from around the world. So it's really working for folks, and we want to make it work for everyone. So definitely any obstacle that you might find that you're having, we can help you overcome that and get you into a classroom or a virtual setting. Next slide. So just real quick, here's some fast facts about like the breakdown of the cost. For Washtenaw County residents, it's $95 a credit hour for in-person. The distance online learning is $117 a credit hour, so it's a tremendous value. Also, to the right of the slide, it's important, and one of the nice things about WCC actually is to understand that the highest degree we offer is a 2-year associate degree. It's a program of study coupled with general education courses. But along the way, one of the nicest things is certificates along the way to that degree, and then post certificates in some programs. So specializing you in your skill, added instruction, and then articulation agreements are basically taking college credit after that associate degree or post-associate certificate and transferring toward a 4-year degree. So what you're doing at WCC, we have the highest accreditations in higher ed education, and classes transfer seamlessly. So that's really important to know, especially like in the topic today with entrepreneurship and business. There are certificates that can be completed in as little as 9 to 36 credit hours. And that's a credential, a college credential behind your name, a stackable credential, because maybe you would get more than one certificate in different areas. And these can be earned along the way to earning a degree. But they set you apart and put you into the workforce, into the industry, and helping you reach those goals. So I love the fact that you're gaining this great instruction, but you're getting a college credential behind your name along the way. Next slide. Again, I kind of touched into this a little bit. I'm still watching the time because I don't want to assume that everyone here knows this, but the difference between an online class and a virtual classroom, pretty simple. Online, we've been leaders in Michigan for online education prior to the pandemic. So basically an online format would be you can access your class 24/7, so you can learn during lunch breaks, you know, when your kids are asleep, like, you know, there isn't a set meeting time, and you're self-paced. So it's easier, you know, for meeting deadlines and less of a structure. We recognized at WCC that not everyone can do online. They need to have that accountability. So at the change with the pandemic and starting in our spring summer semester, we started the virtual classroom. So it's basically you sign up for a set time. Say your class is Tuesday, Thursday. Students log into the class. So rather than driving to campus, you're logging onto your computer, kind of like what we're doing right now. You have your teacher and your classmates, and it's set times. So this could really, it depends really on your learning style, the type of structure that you might need. But I think that the feedback is that this is working nicely for folks that say, I can't do online. So again, Washna coming up with solutions to deliver education to help you reach your goals. Next slide. Okay, as I mentioned, open admissions, so everyone is welcome to attend Washna. You set up an account first, and then after setting up your account, you can, it'll give you access to apply for free. That takes about 15 minutes. And then once you apply, you have an admission checklist where basically, you know, things on the checklist would be new student orientation. And we want to see maybe the levels that you're coming in at for reading and writing. Again, it's not something that says you can't come. It's just we want to put you in the right spot based on where you're at. So once you complete the application checklist, you would be an admitted student and able to register for great classes like you heard about today. Next slide. And then, of course, I would like you to be able to take my contact information down because if you are interested, if you've been considering WCC, definitely reach out to me, email or give me a call here. I am happy to help you get started. But again, that first step, wccnet.edu/apply to get the ball rolling. But I can help you through and connect you with any additional questions you might have. Thank you for your time. And it's 2 o'clock.
Yes, perfect timing. So just to wrap up, Thank you everyone so much for being here. Thank you to all of our presenters today. That was so much great information. I do want to let you know that this is just part one of the 4-part series. So next time, next Thursday at 1 p.m., we're going to be discussing marketing, creating your business plan, and registering your business, which I know we had a lot of questions about that today. So if your question didn't get answered, or if you just want more detail on that, we are here to help. I'm going to stick around for a few. I'm going to stick around for a few more minutes, but this webinar is officially ended. Again, thank you so much for your participation today. We are so happy to see all of you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.